Everybody, welcome back to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room, and we're fresh off Super Divisional Weekend, and what a weekend it was. I mean,
oh yeah,
Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, insanity. We'll talk about Joe Burrow and Tannehill folding under pressure. Can Jimmy G
get it done?
Get some revenge and meet the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Tipping my hand there a little bit. What you guys think about this weekend? And we'll get to Aaron Rodgers later, just for you, okay?
Yeah, can I just say...
Please, we can't get there quick enough.
Yeah, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, but can I just say to all the Packers fans and the Buccaneers fans, I really thought it was their year.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
I like the Pack. I like Aaron Rodgers, too.
I bet you do. You look like one of those guys.
All those fans, okay, I didn't expect to really go far as an Eagles fan, I will admit, but I knew they were watching those games, just picturing them going to be playing in LA and going against an AFC team, but nope.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Maybe next year.
Frauds, the Eagles.
So, dude, that weekend was ridiculous. I can't think of a better like playoff weekend. You had 4 games, all came down to the wire. 3 of them decided by last-second field goals. That shit was insane. Like, I highlighted each day because I had stuff to do this weekend too. So each day I was like,
nobody cares.
Each day I was like, there's one game that I want to watch, right? So on Saturday it was the Cincinnati game. I wanted to watch the Cincinnati game. Sunday it was the Bills-Chiefs game. Neither game disappointed, but I wouldn't have been wrong with any of the games that I chose, man. They were all that good.
Yeah, I watched every game except the Tennessee-Cincinnati game because I was out. Yeah. Man, but that the Bills-Chiefs game was
incredible.
Well,
I mean,
it was incredible,
Christ.
But there was also some shit coaching at the end of that game, man. It was.
I mean, listen, at the end, I just feel like games like that, when it gets to that point, I just think that happens, man. It's too much going on. The defense is
high anxiety. I'm sure everybody was gassed because the last 4 minutes of that game was like frenzy.
The last 4 minutes of that game were nuts. I mean, I remember the fourth quarter was about to kick off. Me and my wife were watching the game. She was in and out of it, and I said, listen, this is about to get crazy. And I didn't think it was going to get that crazy, but it didn't disappoint because she's sitting there. She was saying, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when Josh Allen throws that touchdown to take the lead, we were like, what the fuck is going on, right? Yeah. I mean, because it was, just to see 2 quarterbacks play at that level, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, games in good hands, right?
And it's crazy.
It was nuts.
No matter how that game would have ended, on the drive previous for each teams, you would have been like, we would have said the same thing, like, oh, well, that's the reason why they came back, because Josh Allen is this good, or that's the reason why the Chiefs came back, because Mahomes is this good. But the fact that they went a step further and each had an additional drive to end the game was absolutely disgusting.
That's how you know it was like a good game, because like my girlfriend was also watching the game with me, and she's starting to learn more about football, and she was like, are they going to win? Oh my gosh, did that just happen? I'm like, you don't even know what's about to happen.
Yeah. You know what? Let's try something here. I want to roll that right into one of our pressing issues.
Sure. Well, we got to skip past Rocky. Sorry, you're not here with us.
Yeah, we'll get you.
Put you on the screen.
I got some big shoes to fill over here.
The segue so good here is that game what you're talking about. It didn't end in a field goal. It ended with Mahomes scoring a touchdown, and of course, predictably, everybody's complaining about the overtime rules.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I stand. I kind of know where I stand on it. I think I'm kind of in the middle. What do you guys think? Should they change the overtime rules? Is it overblown? Did they have a chance already? I mean, where do you guys fall? There's a bunch of arguments for this. I want to hear from you specifically first, and then I'll hear from you, Mark, and I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah, so this might be, I don't know who agrees with me here. This might be kind of an unpopular take, but it kind of just needs to stay the same, in my opinion. I think the game is played in 3 phases. It's not just offense. As much as the Chiefs needed to score there, the Bills needed to play defense. I mean, the game's a long game. It's a winded game, but over the last 163 overtime games, only 35 of them were decided by touchdowns on that first possession. So about 22% of them. So it's not as big as we think it is. In the playoffs, it's different because you have a 91% chance of winning that game if you start with the ball first.
No.
But it's more than just calling a coin toss.
It's tough though because it's win or go home at that point too, and it's like
so is the whole playoffs though.
Yeah, but I mean like a whole entire season now culminating basically on the flip of a coin, right? Especially if it's 91%.
Yeah.
Now I could argue this either way, but I feel that if we took the lengths of changing the overtime rules to just the first team that scores, which is literally just the flip of the coin, to well, if you kick a field goal, then the other team gets a chance to at least tie or beat you. If we took it that far, then why not have the same rule apply to a touchdown? You know, I think that momentum. There was a huge momentum swing back and forth in that game, right? So momentum plays a lot, especially when you get to that point, because you're also talking about you're now going into a fifth quarter. So now everybody's gassed, right? You've figured out the defenses like those two teams had at the end of that game. And to now risk that on a flip of a coin for a touchdown when we purposely changed the rule to take out that luck factor of the first team coming down and kicking a field goal.
I think it's a little bit of a half-pregnant rule. What I'll say, and I'll kind of piggyback off what you're saying because I agree with you. I agree with you, too. I think it's a rule that for the purpose of the regular season – the way it's set up, I think, is perfect because you don't want a long, drawn-out game in the regular season.
Because those games are scheduled after each other. There's a business part to it.
I do think there is something to listen. The defense is part of the game, absolutely. But that stat you said is telling because in the playoffs you're dealing with the best of the best. That means you're going to have the best quarterbacks playing the game, and that defense is at a much. They're handicapped in that situation. You know, you're not playing, the bottom of the barrel when it comes to quarterbacks. But what I would say is maybe change that rule in the playoffs.
I can get behind that.
I don't, and people have suggested that, like you said, a touchdown. I don't think that works either, because the Chiefs go down and score, the Bills get the ball back, and now they're playing in a different set of rules because they're playing 4-down football. They're not playing 3. Chiefs have to play more conservative. But what I would like is to play
full-on quarter,
play a quarter, finish like hockey does in the playoffs.
Absolutely,
you play you play the period out till there's a winner. Play the game. Finish the game because I agree. As much as the defense is part of the game, watching that game, 91% of teams, the first team that gets the ball scores. I want to see Josh Allen.
Everyone did
have a chance to answer.
Yeah,
I mean that's what the game, and it's in their best interest too because if they're trying to promote, I mean they don't need it, but you want to promote that rivalry. You want Mahomes to go down and score. You want Josh Allen to either go down and score or be stopped. I think that, and you play till 15 minutes is over, no sudden death. Yeah, well, whoever wins.
Well, if you want to introduce like the riverboat gambling factor into it, then the 2-point conversion, like then it's on you. That's like your decision. Like, hey, we can tie this game up and keep going in this extra quarter.
Brings coaching,
or we can opt to go for the 2-point conversion, and here's where we're going to roll the dice. Right? Soccer does the same thing, right? You go in. Soccer goes into the extra frames, and soccer takes it a step further, and they go into 2 extra 15-minute periods. To where it's, the highest tally wins. And I think football, absolutely, man, you should finish out that fifth quarter. And then if you're still tied at the end of the fifth quarter, I don't know, man. Maybe a fucking kickoff or something.
That's when they need to bring it.
And I'll say this, well, like the point we're making is when you got basically
turn it into a skills challenge.
2 of probably the top 4 quarterbacks in the league right now. You want them to finish with the ball. You want to see them get a chance, right?
Yeah, they were saying that before the game started, or maybe at halftime, the commentators are like, whoever is probably going to have the ball last will win this game.
And we've seen that happen a lot in the playoffs, especially. Yeah. But I'll transition that to one of our other pressing issues, and we'll talk about this game a little bit, which is one of my favorite upcoming players, along with Josh Allen, who I love, Joe Burrow, and
Burrow
Ryan Tannehill.
Fucking
now, let me say this about Burrow. I love Burrow, but that wasn't a great game for Burrow either.
But that's okay.
What I will say,
you want to see a dude win like that because
you do.
It's not always going to be Mahomes. It's not always going to be that game.
And we'll talk about those young quarterbacks later. But I think we're all in agreement on Burrow. But what I think the issue is here is I think people are split on Ryan Tannehill, and I think it was a knockout, drag him out game for both defenses played well. But Tannehill did turn the ball over.
Are people really split on him, though?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think people that are reasonable, that are not hot takers. But,
I mean, it's been a while. If that question's been raised year after year for the last 3 or 4 years, I mean, that dates back to Miami. I don't know that it's a hot take anymore.
Well, here's what I'll say. Since what I'll say about Tannehill is, yes, he made mistakes, okay.
Three.
Well,
of
what
them.
I would say is you get rid of who were the quarterbacks before Tannehill was there? Mariota, was it Jake Locker? Were you successful at all with those guys?
No. But I mean,
I still think that if
are you gonna hang your hat on that though?
Yes.
You're still trying to get your best quarterback in there, which would lead into our
Yeah,
next
no,
topic.
but this is like what I said a couple of weeks ago. There's only about 5 guys that are those guys, that you're gonna say are Mahomes, maybe Burrow, Rodgers, Brady. There's not a lot of those guys.
Yeah, but those guys won the game though.
Yeah, and I don't.
No, I know. What I'm saying is that those guys.
So
You can't.
let's say
you
they're the
can't-
top of the pack. I don't put Tannehill at the top of the middle of the pack either.
I don't agree with that.
If
You look at his numbers over the last few years, he's clearly in the top 10.
That's a legitimate question because I see what you're saying because Jimmy Garoppolo is playing in a conference championship. And
Well,
what did he
I
do?
think they're in the same. But I like Jimmy Garoppolo. He's solid.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing
He's
with
gonna
you.
make mistakes,
I'm saying
yeah.
like what did he do though to get them there? Not a lot. That game was won off special teams.
That's true.
And
So-
he had like 9 total like fantasy points too. If you want to
Yeah.
transition it into fantasy points to kind of give you, a lot of our viewers I think go off of fantasy points. So that'll show you just how effective he was in that realm. So he wasn't a high offensive productive fella.
It can happen.
but-
You're very like you're on the edge of your seat. If
That's true.
Tannehill's your
but
quarterback.
Here's what I'm
Sure.
saying. I think we have a tendency to just look at that game and not look at like they had to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do we though?
And
Because we're still
I
talking
think
the
we
same
do.
way about Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers can't get it. He can't close the deal
Well,
year
that's
after year.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So
But-
I think it's I think it plays on both ends of the spectrum.
Well,
now.
what I'm saying is, you rather be in the contest than not make the contest.
Yeah, but
because
if-
if you get into the contest and you got Jimmy Garoppolo, like what Jimmy Garoppolo through the playoffs, right? The NFC Championship game when he went to the Super Bowl, like famously, he threw only a few passes, right? Something I forget what it was.
Yeah.
But if you remember the last 6 weeks of that season, he was tossing the ball all over the yard.
Yeah, but do the
And
Niners,
he wasn't bad. So they got conservative because he does tend to make some mistakes. But what I'm saying is you can still get to a Super Bowl with him, and you can still win it. He was one throw,
So,
3 yards overthrow away from hitting that and sealing it, but they could have still won that game.
You can make that argument because we've seen guys like Trent Dilfer and Jeff Hostetler and
but I
guys
think
like
he's
that
better
in the
than
Super
those
Bowl.
guys, too.
Yeah,
Tannehill, too.
skill wise, I think so. Well, Tannehill is definitely athletic. If you're going to ask me, do you think your chances are better with Tannehill or Jake Locker? Obviously, I'm taking Tannehill. But if you're going to say like, if you had a chance to have Steve McNair back versus Tannehill,
Well,
your
yeah,
chances are
obviously.
much better with the Steve McNair.
Yeah.
So now go out and get a guy that's kind of comparable to a Steve McNair,
But this is my point.
like a Jalen Hurts. I hate Jalen Hurts in Philly.
I'd rather have Tannehill than Jalen
You put
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts in Tennessee?
No.
Yeah, man.
Tannehill went 12-4 without Derrick Henry, without A.J. Brown for most of the year, and Julio Jones most
But
of the year.
as you guys pointed out in an episode that didn't show, those last 9 weeks they played one team with their starting quarterback. Is that correct? Tennessee, when they went on that huge winning streak at the end of the year.
That was Miami.
that was Tua. He only beat quarterbacks.
But hey, good try.
Well, then that shows you. I think they're one and the same.
Here, my point with Tannehill is
Put
that
Tua in Tennessee. I don't
my
give a
point
shit.
with Tannehill is they've been a consistent contender. They need things to go right for them. He needs to throw 1 interception instead of 3. So yeah, he had a bad game. But if you get rid of him, what are you doing? I think you're much more likely to get a Jake Locker than you are to get a Justin Herbert. That's what I'm saying.
I've got two
like
things
the
for it.
chances are do you let go of the hard 7 you have to go after the 10?
Well,
Or you get what I'm like. You get to a point.
Phil settles for like 6s and 7s.
Like when you're 20 years old, right? When the Titans 4 years ago, you're looking for the hard 10, but you hit 35, you got to settle.
well,
on,
let's face it. Like let's
you get
think
what I'm
about
saying? Like,
those
that's
teams that
what
settle
it
though, they
is.
don't necessarily win the Super
It's
Bowl.
not true, though.
So let's think about it like
The
this.
last few years, it's been the guys that
last
go
few
get
years.
the quarterbacks.
That's true.
Without deep diving in the stats, right? Let's look at this from 30,000 feet, right?
Okay.
So how many times are you going to really hit on drafting your number one franchise quarterback
Not a
that's going to
lot.
be sustainable,
Yeah,
right?
because there's only 5 of the guys like Phil's saying.
So let's say one. All right. So if you go with 5, right, 32 teams, one every 6 years, a team is going to hit on that guy, right? How many times do you hit on the guy that can get you there? Maybe 2 quarterbacks every year is drafted like that. So I mean, it's difficult. Of course, you're not going to, you're not going to just be able to replace Tannehill with Jake Locker.
That's why I don't think you replace him.
or like Baker Mayfield or anything like that. If you ask me, what are your chances better winning with Tannehill or Mayfield? I'm going to say Tannehill, right? Because I think Tannehill is just a little bit more savvy. I think he probably doesn't make as many mistakes as a Mayfield. But if you're going to ask me, like I said, Tannehill.
I think he's a better player overall.
Tannehill?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I think we're skewed by the mistakes. I think we don't watch them week to week. But if you look at the numbers, the winning percentage, and Henry's part of that, but it doesn't matter. They're a team. If they can win with both of them, that's all. If Mayfield had Henry and he was winning, we'd be talking about them winning. It wouldn't be so much about Mayfield sucking.
I'm trying to think of another quarterback that's in a predicament where he's a lot better than how the team plays, and if he was on a team like Tennessee, would he thrive there?
Like the top
Matt
8 guys will
Stafford
get you
going
done.
to the Rams.
Well, no, Stafford is he's in a winning situation.
What I'm saying, he wasn't last year, so
Like
that'd be the comparable.
Jared Goff would probably be a comparable.
No,
Goff to a Tannehill. Like if you put what I'm saying is if you put Goff into that situation, could Tennessee win with Goff? Because Goff has been a proven winner. Goff has been in LA and they've gone to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff.
That's fair, yeah.
So if you
but did they win that game though?
No, they didn't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I think the comparison.
I think we're underselling going to the Super Bowl though. Like everybody, like if you're the Eagles, right? Before you guys won a Super Bowl, how bad would or you guys went to the Super Bowl a few years before that?
And we had McNabb, and he was good.
But how bad do you just? I mean, that's what I'm saying. We have a tendency to overlook everything except if they just win a championship. That's a recency thing in the media, but just being in the playoffs every year, having a chance. Get into a Super Bowl here and there. That is, as a fan, that's what you want. You don't want to be the Browns.
Well, do you want to be
that never go? Yeah, I'd rather be in these playoffs every year and get eliminated, maybe get to a Super Bowl, than be the team that never goes and is a laughing stock.
So I think that's a loaded question too, because I mean, the Bengals probably came. The fans of the Bengals probably came into these playoffs with kind of low expectations, right? Like, I think we can compete, but let's see. They're going to temper their expectations. Now the expectation going forward is, holy shit, Joe Burrow and this offense got us to an AFC championship game. Going forward, it's AFC championship game or bust because Joe Burrow is so young. So
that's true,
I think that puts that pressure that you're talking about in that scenario. As a Bears fan, when Chicago went to the playoffs a couple years ago with Mitch Trubisky, as a Bears fan, I'm reserved, right? Because I'm a realist and I'm like, I'm a little fucking scared about this. But they went there with a very, very powerful team. Yeah. And I was thinking, we could potentially get deep into these playoffs, and then the double doink and that fucking shit team from the Northeast beat us. Yeah. And it was an awful feeling. But to your point, I don't know.
I think Tannehill and Jimmy Garoppolo are very comparable. I think you get to the Super Bowl with them. I think once you're in the dance, it is what it is. We've seen the Ravens beat teams that they shouldn't have beat and go to win a Super Bowl. Does it happen all the time? But no. But if you don't have Patrick Mahomes, guess what? You're not just going to draft the odds of you drafting another Patrick Mahomes are very small. So I take a guy that could get me there, build a team around him. That defense was great this year. They should have won that game. If they sack the guy 9 times, if he doesn't turn the ball over 3 times, they win the game.
All right.
Bad playoff game. I think you run it back. The rest of the team, the defense is good. You got Henry.
Don't answer this question immediately. Give it 5 seconds worth of thought.
Just 5?
If you can bring Deshaun Watson in to replace Tannehill,
yes.
So it didn't take you long.
Well, I mean, Deshaun Watson's the top 5 quarterback, though.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you bring somebody in like talent-wise.
Of course, yes.
You know what I mean? But you're not putting even this year, had Deshaun Watson played, no one's saying preseason Deshaun Watson's the top 5 quarterback.
I think
he's outside your top 5.
No, I think if he's playing, he's a top 5 quarterback.
But I think you put him in a situation like that.
I think you put him in any situation. He's with the Texans.
I mean, that's a fair point. And
they were like 2-14, but he was like top 3 quarterback.
You don't want to make that comparison because Texans actually did half decent this year with Davis Mills.
What do you mean half decent? What was their record? Same thing.
6-11.
Yeah, but they weren't supposed to. No, they were like 3 and something.
Were they?
Yeah.
I thought they didn't win 2 games at the end.
But they
weren't
supposed to win anything. Well, okay, so I can see what you're saying about like overreaching or like maybe there's not a 10 out in the wild, right? Like the 49ers did draft Trey Lance. Is he going to be good? Like they're wanting him to be a top 5 quarterback. Maybe the Niners don't even agree with keeping Jimmy Garoppolo, but I don't know. I think
they're one game away from a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but getting to the dance though is good for teams that aren't. It depends what your organization wants to do. It depends like what your GM and your president want to do because you could be the Steelers and the Packers of the world and be in the playoffs and be a successful team, but those fans are tired of that shit. They want to go and win the Super Bowl now.
That's true.
So it depends on how long you can do it until you actually get there.
The fans don't matter though.
I mean, yeah.
And you can't run the team based on the fans. You gotta. Do you want to be in the wilderness?
You were asking though if you want to be a fan of a team that gets to the playoffs every year.
Oh yeah, that's
that,
true.
Yeah.
But that's me personally, I guess. So yeah, I mean, because I just look at it. I think sometimes fans are unreasonable. Like, do you want to? Yeah, let's dump the guy that has us in the playoffs every year, and let's.
Where can the Titans get better though?
I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. If you could get a Watson, if there's a guy that's clearly better, yes, make the move if you can make it. But I'm not just gonna dump him.
So now I think I get more of what you're saying. I think you were arguing the fact like, hey, let's cut this guy a break because he has year after year still gotten us to this point, and is he the reason why we get to this point every year and then we don't get further?
This year
that question, this year he was in the. I'm going to agree there. I don't think he has been the problem at that point. I think in those games where they're needed to step up, in the past especially, they've been so Derrick Henry dependent that teams key in on that on the playoffs.
Yeah, that's why they went and got Julio. Yeah, but that didn't work out.
Yeah. Right, and then then you fast forward to this. You can probably pin this loss on Tannehill, honestly.
You can,
but in the past, I mean, the guy is consistent enough to get you to where you need to be to give yourself a chance to win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because you're running into buzzsaws. You're running into Brady and Manning, basically. You're running into Mahomes and Brady up until this year. So
who do you put it on then at that point? Do you put it on coaching at that point?
This year it's on Tannehill.
Did the wide receiver, were those picks truly on Tannehill? Or were they bobbled or, you know what I mean?
No, I think he threw two of them straight into the gutter.
Yeah, two of them were bad interceptions.
And then one of them was not probably on him.
One of them was probably
Yeah, how many more years do we give Tannehill if he is the answer?
I think you got to look at the roster and see where they're at. Like, as long as you have Henry there and before you have to sign Brown to a huge contract, it really depends on the roster construction. Because I think Tannehill will re-sign for a discount, and I think he's good enough. I mean, it just depends on when they get rid of him, they have to blow it up unless they're going to trade or get one of those guys because you're not going to go draft a rookie guy and try to win with Henry and those guys on the defense. But we spent a long time on this. So let's pivot and talk about another guy that you just mentioned before is Aaron Rodgers. And the question we're going to ask, right, is will Aaron Rodgers win a Super Bowl?
All right,
second Super Bowl.
Let me start this off.
Let's not go too long on this because we're really
Here's what I'm going to say.
Let's let the Bears fans start.
Aaron Rodgers is a fantastic quarterback. I hate him because I have to hate him because he's in Green Bay, right? Is he obviously a talented individual? Beyond comparison, he probably does things in his offense that other guys cannot do, right? So I think piggybacking off of what we just talked about, right, blowing teams up, can he win another Super Bowl? Well, he's a little older, right? I think next year he'll be 39 going into the season. For sure, 100% in the correct situation, this dude can win multiple Super Bowls going forward. But if you're looking at blowing teams up and starting over with him, no, I don't think Father Time is going to allow that to happen. I think
he doesn't want to rebuild either.
That's just it. Because think about it this way: if Green Bay's not even rebuilding, and he hasn't won with Green Bay, right? Yeah. So you don't want to put him in a shittier situation than that because he's not going to win with that team either. Mm-hmm. So you want to put him in a situation that's already been rebuilt and is going towards, you put Aaron Rodgers in Tennessee. That last debate is a much different debate.
That's true. Because, maybe.
Well, maybe. And all right. So yes, maybe, but.
Maybe.
I like my prospects with Aaron Rodgers.
I get you,
about 90% better than I do with Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. And I think if you put him on a team that's already started rebuilding 2 years ago, so not even a team that blew up last year, but maybe 2 years ago, you put him in a situation like Denver, yes, I think he can win a Super Bowl because I think now Denver is now trying to build their defensive nucleus back up, right? So they got rid of Von Miller. Bradley Chubb came back from injury, and Bradley Chubb played well at the end of the season. I think on the defensive side of the ball is the only place where they need to add key components because that offensive line obviously proved to be pretty decent because they had two runners that ran for close to 1,000 yards, one a rookie and one a little bit older, and they have a nucleus of young catching dudes on that team. Two fantastically talented wide receivers and a young tight end that could be a dynamo with the correct quarterback.
It depends on where he wants to go though, because Rodgers is looking at more than just the team. I feel he's looking at like the organization where he's going to get respect, where he gets an opinion, because the Broncos don't have a head coach. They have not had a lot of success, and I don't know if like the Broncos are necessarily getting an upgrade. Like Devontae Adams kind of ratios those wide receivers in Denver, and the running games, it's a 2 tandem back system, same as the Packers. Like if you put Rodgers, and it's also where can that team ship off their quarterback they
I
have.
think that's a much tougher division, too.
Yeah, and that too, yeah. I think if you put him on the Colts, maybe, Wentz only has 1 year that they would have to take a hit for instead of like a guy that they wanted to have. The GM there like is a player's GM. I think that's a better situation for him.
He might be
being that Indianapolis was. I mean, that was a dipshit week away from not being being a contender in the playoffs.
So wait, do you guys think? Did you say if you thought he would win the Super Bowl or no?
Yeah, I said he can win multiple Super Bowls.
I think he can.
Do you think he will though? I want definitive.
It depends where he's.
I
want to take.
I can't
you think
answer
he's
that.
gonna? Well,
it
that's
depends
what
on
we're
where
doing.
it goes.
Where definitively is he going to play?
Do you think he's gonna win a Super Bowl?
I can't answer that. I
Well,
don't know
we
where he's
can.
going.
This is what we're doing.
All right, so you tell me. Can he win
No,
one?
I don't think he's gonna win one.
No?
No, can he win one? Of course he can. Can he not? Of course he can.
Yeah, I might have to side with Phil.
I'm saying I think he won't. What do you think? Don't be a puss boy.
Yeah,
Tell me what you think.
It's not about. It's incomplete information.
Yeah, but none of us have the information. This is like what we're doing.
Yeah. No,
What's the take?
100%, because he's going to be so choosy in where he goes next. He's only going to put himself in a winning position.
That's a good point.
So besides Denver and Indy,
He'll go to Jeopardy.
where else do you think he'll go?
Honestly, he could probably win a Super Bowl with I'd say probably 10 solid teams. That
I think the
take him.
AFC, he doesn't get out of the AFC.
You mean he doesn't get
I
into
think
the
he
NFC?
can't get into the Super Bowl from the AFC.
In the
Oh,
AFC.
from the
No.
AFC.
Holy shit. You put him in Denver or Indy? You don't
He
think
just
he can?
lost to Jimmy Garoppolo. You're going to put him in
Yeah.
Denver.
You're
He's got to play Herbert twice a year, Mahomes twice a year, Derek Carr, who's
Good.
not as good as him,
You're
but
putting him in putting him in a situation where they care about giving him weapons on offense. Green
Derek-
Bay has not cared about giving him weapons on offense.
Derek Carr in Tennessee would be.
he has
an
the best
upgrade.
wide receiver in the
Just
league.
to
but
throw that
okay.
out there.
The what?
Derek Carr in Tennessee would be an upgrade. That's it. That's
Derek
great.
Carr in Tennessee would be an upgrade.
But
Yes, he would.
we're past that segment.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I like
But-
I like the throwback though. It's good.
no, yeah, I like Derek Carr, but he would also be playing him twice a year. I don't think he gets out of the
Does he
AFC
go to
playing
Tampa
Mahomes.
Bay?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna put you on the spot right
Yeah,
here.
go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers goes to New York
Yeah,
with those weapons.
yeah. What about
Aaron Rodgers can win a.
They could
Aaron
win-
Rodgers
they
could
win
win a
the
Super Bowl in a
division.
couple years.
why though?
What do you mean? Why? Why would? Well, no, he wouldn't go there. So there is that. That answers your question as
Well,
to why.
I didn't bring it
There's-
up. You
There's
did.
no way he's going there. But the
I never
point
said
is-
I wanted him.
The point is that he could win with a team like that, so he can win with a
I
better
don't.
team.
I don't agree.
You want Aaron Rodgers?
You would take Aaron Rodgers in a heartbeat.
No, well, first of all, we don't have the money to pay him.
I know that.
Second of all,
If Aaron
I
Rodgers
don't
was
know
on
that
your-
I want him.
If he was on your doorstep in the rain,
Wait, speaking of no money to work with,
are we gonna do sounds?
where are we
for this
going?
episode?
Where are we going with no money to work with?
Oh, okay.
That's the best segue we've ever had on the show.
It's terrible when you say that, though. You ruined it.
The best. Well, no, we ruin it every week. Every week we always talk about.
I
it.
Well,
tried
now
not
you're
to.
now
That
you're
was the
neutral.
best.
Now you're neutral because you didn't play pressing issues, and now I'm sad. So thanks. I have to sing
Idiot.
it to myself.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
God,
Yeah.
you suck.
We can go back though and play it.
Should we sing it right
How
now?
much are we paying this guy? Hold on. No, not pressing issues. Ass of the week.
Cut.
All right, we're talking about who did you guys say that ass of the week was?
Oh, I have a nice, pretty. Since Rocky's not here,
I
wait for it.
disagree with this, but okay.
Sean who? The man that broke up with his team after 16 years. He basically had a long-term partner, saw that they were broke,
Wow, 16 years.
and threw the
Holy
deuces.
shit.
He was gone. He
Guy
left.
was a saint. No pun intended.
Pun entirely intended.
But the crazy part is when he decided to throw up those deuces. Give us a little background. What happened here? Why is he leaving town? Why is he skipping?
I don't even know.
He's
man.
running up the bar tab and then bouncing.
Yeah, some people say that he's gonna be a media personality. Some say he's gonna sit by the lake and think about his life and reminisce about the Drew Brees times. But hey, maybe Sean Payne and Drew Brees going. What are they on? What is Drew Brees on CBS or something like that now?
He's on NBC.
NBC. They partner up there. I think it's I think it's kind of terrible, to be honest, because that's a blow to the Saints fans, and they're going to be. I don't think there's bright days ahead.
Hey, let me ask you something. You guys, you're probably not old enough. You remember how bad the Saints were before Sean Payton went there?
Horrible.
Okay, so he can't do anything wrong. Okay,
I agree with that.
This is what I'm gonna say. 16 years. You know why he left?
Dude, I'm gonna
because Drew Brees retired. He gave it a go with what they had this year.
I'm gonna be honest,
he did. They're lucky he stuck around another year.
I agree with that.
He won them a Super Bowl, had them in playoffs. Like what? 14 out of those 16 years.
I'm not gonna lie. I fucking hate you.
He's a Saint.
I think your takes are awful, but I agree with you 100%.
They're fucking pristine. Best takes in the biz.
All right.
This is and like I mean, go back to that year that they lost to Chicago in the championship game, right? What 2008, 2009, right after Katrina had hit, and no one expected the Saints weren't even supposed to win any kind of amount of games.
Yeah, that was like a miracle.
Sean Payton pulled that miracle out of his ass, and that just kind of jettisoned him into the talk of, you're absolutely right. He can do no wrong. Sean Payton to New Orleans is Mike Tomlin to Pittsburgh, right? Those guys can do no wrong because of their storied history. What they've done for the franchise, what they've done for their cities. I agree with you. I think it's funny, how the media always spins takes and how they're saying, Sean Payton's exiting because there's $74 million over the cap. And he's like, all right, so I ran up the bar tab and now I'm bouncing. But the thing that I now wonder is Sean Payton. So this is one of those storied guys, right? That like as a Cowboy fan, you hated to see Jimmy Johnson leave.
I didn't.
Well, you're not a Cowboy fan. As a 49er fan, you hated to see Bill Walsh leave. Stuff,
I didn't.
Stuff like that. So does this open the door now for other guys that kind of already have that one foot on the banana peel, like a Mike Tomlin?
Or
like oh, shit, man, am I going to go through another rebuild?
Yeah, that's true. But Mike Tomlin's young.
Yeah.
I have the banana in my mouth, so you get that right.
Sean Payton's not, Sean Payton's not old. Sean Payton.
What did Rocky say the other week?
He is in his, I don't know. Rocky says a lot of stupid shit. Sean Payton's in his 60s. Like, hey, listen.
It's the curse in the microphone. That's what happened.
Hear me out here, right?
It smells like lactate and Metamucil.
He made them a legitimate team,
and peanut oil.
It is what it is. That number, 74, okay. And listen.
Yeah, who even put that there?
I mean, well, what I'm saying is it's smoke and mirrors. They cut Taysom Hill off of that hybrid contract.
Is there any...
They probably save about half of that $40 million.
They cut ties with Mike Thomas. Same thing. There's a lot of ways they can take Cam Jordan, cut Cam Jordan's contract.
Let me sprinkle a little question in here.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a surprise to us, right?
Who? What?
That Sean Payton left.
Yes, it was shocking.
Was it a surprise to the Saints organization? Do you think that there was, and this is a genuine, I'm not like trying to spin a narrative, like, is there any type of like surprise to them, you would think? Any speculation there?
I think we'd have to see.
Well, there was talk last year, I believe. I think there was some speculation last year, right, that Sean Payton was going to leave.
With Breeze leaving. I mean, I would tend to think that, just because they've been together so long that they're in constant communication. I think whatever the press conference is when they announce it, whatever we see when we leave here, I'd probably be a little bit more
I think it might have been one of those things where, like, they kind of knew it was coming at some point. Where, like, well, why don't we try therapy first? Let's see if that works. And then you're like, it's working.
New toys in the bedroom.
And then all of a sudden,
something goes in the wrong hole.
Well, you knew it was coming. Well,
you use toys?
Oh, no.
Hey, so I think we're done with Peyton, right?
Yeah, I got nothing there.
I had something that just came through, and I think it's a good topic for us to talk about since we're on air. David Ortiz just got elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame.
I don't have a slide for that. What am I going to... Should I just go back to Rocky?
Big Poppy. What do you think about that, though? I hate it. I mean, I love him. Hate him, but love him. Love, hate.
Yeah.
What I hate about it is that he was a guy that was implicated in those reports that took steroids, and there's a handful of guys that are not being let in and guys that never tested negative.
So if you
talking about Roger Clemens, even ARod, Barry Bonds, guys that should be there that are on probably. I'm going to look at the numbers when we get off air, but probably going to fall out of the voting this year.
Not all. I mean, Barry Bonds is off the ballot after this year.
If he doesn't make 75%. Yeah.
So making, I just think that Barry Bonds was probably the guy that they put the target on when all those allegations came out. Roger Clemens.
Roger Clemens went in front of Congress and swore, argued, said that he never took anything, never failed a test, and he's been blackballed from the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, if anything, if you can say anything to this, I think this shows that out of those guys, Big Papi probably kept his mouth shut a little bit better than the others.
Here's my problem with the MLB, their Hall of Fame, is that their writers, they're a bunch of soy boys, okay?
Yeah.
Because they vote off their emotion, and David Ortiz was the nicest to the media.
Yeah.
So Roger Clemens was easy to hate. Barry Bonds was easy to dislike.
I hate the process anyway. Going
Even Kurt Schilling.
The fact that Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame is fucking criminal. I mean, if we want to get into it like that,
but Pete Rose,
for gambling, he never fixed games though.
It's different though. I mean, I agree with you to an extent, but he actually did something that was illegal. We're talking about guys that never. Well, we're talking about guys that never failed a test though.
Right.
There's a difference. We're talking about a guy that actually gambled.
All right.
Whether you could argue whether he should be, that should be a rule, but these guys didn't even break the rule.
Well, that's if you're using nowadays where you have the blinders on and you're like, all right, I'm only going to believe what is definitely.
Well, that's the point.
Well, I mean, when you go from Barry,
you can't tell me not to come and work if I don't fail. If the COVID test, okay?
If you're Barry Bonds playing one season at 178, and all of a sudden next season you come back at 240 and you're hitting 60 homers,
that's fair. But David Ortiz,
the writing's on the wall.
He had a positive test though.
He was hitting the banana.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying whatever you want to think, they didn't fail a test. And like I said, you can't force me to tell me I can't come into work if I don't get a positive COVID. If I have a negative COVID-19 test, you can't say, well, you're sneezing, so you can't come. You get what I'm saying? So. That's what I don't like about it, because I like Ortiz. Even though he's a Red Sox guy, I like him. But the fact that he's getting into the
hypocrisy.
There you go.
I got you.
The hypocrisy. It's too much for me. A little too much.
I've never liked the voting system for the Hall of Fame, and I don't like how players drop off after X amount of years either. And I really don't like. I mean, this was a hot take, obviously, but you can go back. There are hundreds of players deserve it of the Hall of Fame for one reason or another, and they're snubbed routinely until they're off the ballot. Keith Hernandez is one. Keith Hernandez deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for his numbers. I mean, the guy was a fantastic hitter. He showed up in big games. Like Keith Hernandez could legitimately be in the Hall of Fame. Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly is not in the Hall of Fame. No. Holy shit. That's what I mean. See, stuff like that.
But baseball, baseball, it's just kind of like everything with baseball. Baseball believes that they're like the high society of sports, so they're like nose in the air.
Yeah, okay.
But that's what they think.
And I'm a millionaire.
That's how they conduct themselves too.
The majority of those assholes that vote on that too are probably making like $40,000 a year, and they're holding their nose in the air.
Don't shame people for making $40,000.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is,
I know you got tenants, you got properties in other states.
No. You're determining.
This guy was house shopping in Sarasota over the weekend. Look at that. He's looking for his beach, looking for a beach oasis. and now he's putting down people making $40,000 a year. This guy's got some.
Well,
he's taking over Rocky's seat, so it makes no sense.
This is true,
and it makes sense why he's always firing the rich guy missiles at Rocky.
I got some big shoes to fill over here in Rocky's seat.
You're our counsel. You're our elder for the week.
This is a
substitute
big
teacher.
Shoes, man. I feel like I should be yelling at kids to stay off my front lawn and erectile dysfunction over here.
Wow, dang, that was a shot. Rocky, have anything to say to that?
Shots fired.
Where is Rocky right now?
I think we had a picture of Rocky, didn't
we? He's interviewing for the head coaching job in New York right now.
Rocky.
You look good, Rocky. You got the nice little pocket square with the. I don't know if you're going for the maybe clean up the beard a little bit.
A little salt and pepper.
I'm liking the salt and pepper beard, Rocky. That's good luck.
Okay, right.
Well, the only thing missing in that picture is he doesn't have the Hubble telescope on his face there.
All right, so let's get to our good transition. So we're going to go to our fantasy section here, right? And I'll let you lead this remark because this is your baby.
All right. Yeah, we wanted to sprinkle in a little fantasy, right? At this point, fantasy's kind of, it's out the window. Now you're looking forward to next year. If you're like me, you're already looking forward to drafting 9:30 tonight for my very first draft for next year.
Wow, really?
And
fucking weirdo.
And if not,
early bird gets the worm? Question mark.
And if not, you're like Phil. You're waiting until 3 days before the season starts, and you're trying to throw together a league.
Hey, that's me, man. I'm like trying to draft. Remember when Julian Edelman was drafted and then like punctured a lung or something in the preseason or something like that?
Yeah. So let's sprinkle a little fantasy in here, right? So we had some footage that was probably, I don't think it made it out there. So let's talk about top value and bottom value this year regarding ADP of players that you had.
I have a lot of bottom value.
I'm big on the top value.
No, I'm sure you are. So that top value, who's the guy that you drafted well below where he should have been drafted in regards to his outcome?
Jalen Waddle.
Oh,
All right, there you go.
Late round flyer for me, but wound up being.
You're a dick for leading with that one. P.S. Dude, you just took the low hanging fruit.
I've got another low hanging fruit.
Grab this.
Let's get another low hanging fruit out of the way. Debo Samuel.
Do you want me to lie?
Debo Samuel.
Jesus.
God damn it.
Jalen Waddle.
You guys are going to make me do research now because you just took my two goddamn guys.
Well, I have another one.
He wants me to make up somebody I didn't draft.
I've got two more wide receivers, actually. The very last pick, not just for my team, but the last pick because I think I had maybe it was third to last something in my league. I took Michael Pittman. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I was high on Pittman this year. And believe it or not, I mean, it's not going to sound like it now because he produced so well.
Did you draft him high or low? You need somebody low.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
so
draft him low.
Jamar Chase should have been drafted higher than he was because Jamar Chase had top 5 wide receiver.
You just gave
upside.
me shit for Jalen Waddle and you said Jamar Chase?
No, because you leaned out there. You grabbed the one.
He had to backpedal.
He had the absolute best value for where he was drafted.
So I did good.
Yeah, you did good.
Okay.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good job, Phil.
That's
You get a gold star.
That's what happens when you don't. He doesn't fucking study. He's looking over.
I didn't study.
And hits the goddamn winner.
I have another one.
I don't need to study.
Hunter Renfrow.
Hunter Renfrow.
Finished top 10.
He was a waiver ad for
He
me.
only had 3 games in single digits this year.
I'm going to be an absolute homer here. Darnell Mooney. Where Darnell
you
Mooney
were talking
was
Darnell
drafted,
Mooney all summer last year.
I was, but where Darnell Mooney was getting drafted was rounds 14 and below.
Where did you draft him, though?
Mooney? I would always snatch him in 11.
Okay, so that's good.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, I have a few, actually. My quarterbacks were Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts. Those guys weren't going to be...
Jalen Hurts was a nice pick. I had him on a team,
but
too.
even Tom Brady, I got Tom Brady in the 13th round or something like that.
He's boring, though.
He finished top 5, though.
Yeah, but I don't like talking about him. He's boring.
Yeah, he might retire, too.
No,
hey,
go
Aaron
the other
Rodgers
way.
to Aaron Rodgers to...
You go the other way a lot, so yeah.
Yeah, it's all about equal opportunity. So here we go. So a guy you drafted high that absolutely shit the bed. I'm going to lead before you steal this, you son of a bitch. Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, top 3
First
wide
of all,
receiver.
my mother listens to the show. So
We started off with a few
Not literally.
F-bombs within
Does
the
she?
first
Does
10
she
well,
listen?
he said son of a bitch.
Does she listen to the show?
What?
Your mom listens?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
that's
Dude.
nice.
That's
Well,
honestly,
I think she's not going to appreciate what you just said.
I think,
Apologize.
I think my mom listens. I'm sorry.
Apologize.
I'm
Look at
sorry.
the camera and apologize right now.
Should I say her real name or no? I'm sorry, Michelle. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
All right. I was going to say
all
Phil's
right.
mom, but that would have seemed a little impersonal since I actually know her.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah, you know
apologize.
her and you said that. Wow.
I think
Wow.
my parents still watch the show too.
Piece of garbage.
surprisingly.
Hi, Mom.
All right, so who's your letdown?
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
That's
Yeah.
an easy one though. That was low hanging fruit that I just.
That's
smoked.
pain.
sucked.
I had a buddy, I think I've talked about this before, Shadow Jackson. He went 3-13, but he had the third most points forced, and he drafted Calvin Ridley, and he had a few other stinkers too, and that sums up the entire team for him.
Yeah. There were quite a few this year. I can throw out a couple more. You
Yeah,
guys.
throw some because I can't remember.
I got another
Cam
Falcon.
Akers, dude. Cam Akers was all over
I didn't have him.
the end of the first round, beginning
Yeah,
of
I
the
traded
second
for
round.
him. I traded for him.
That's
I have him
drafting
now.
too early, though.
Wait.
That's drafting too early and get those guys. What's it like? Basically, every Ravens running back you can say that for too.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't have any of those guys either.
I have a running back though, and it actually is an Atlanta Falcon. The one that didn't trend in the right way, Mike Davis.
is
Mike
a
Davis,
big
yeah.
one.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was circling him in every single league. Thank God he got drafted in 2 leagues that I couldn't get him in early enough. So I took him in one, and it was.
That's a good point right there. And another one too. People were trying to ride the James Robinson train going into this
I
year.
had James
and
Robinson.
James Robinson was super overvalued this
I got
year.
another one too. And man, this is just bringing up a lot of sad time for me in drafts. I drafted James Robinson and then I drafted Miles Sanders back to back.
I was about to say Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
too.
You know what? I hope Philly learned its lesson though. I hope next year they kind of
I hope
commit
they
to Miles Sanders. Well,
Yeah.
the same
What?
thing. New York should commit to
No.
Barkley too.
No, they shouldn't.
Oh yeah, they should. They should sign him for $100 million.
No,
Give
they
him-
shouldn't.
Give him some Mahomes money. Make him
All right.
throw the football too.
Ridiculous.
All right. So
Commit.
so now my question to you is: So that kind of sets like an outline of what happens with these players, right? So like some of these lower players, you realize how important they were to their offense, right? And that's the reason why they get drafted low and they explode, right? Jalen Waddle probably on the field for 80% of offensive snaps and probably targeted in like 60% of the passes or whatever it be. Transition that algorithm to next year. Who do you guys think comes off the board in low rounds next year and explodes like a Deebo Samuel? Deebo Samuel is a league winner. That dude is a league winner where he was drafted and the kind of production that you got out of him. Who do you see next year doing this? You got anybody?
I have one.
Let's hear it.
You're going to like this one. And it's a guy that we already said, but it's going to still be the same type of
100,
low ADP,
100%.
You know what I'm going to say?
No, I know what you're going to say.
You want to say it at the same time?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Mooney?
Jalen Wall.
Oh.
Oh, all right.
Darnell Mooney, I think, is actually going to be really good this year or next year. I mean, that's a whole new regime in Chicago. Justin Fields is going to be like, yeah, well,
I love you, brother.
Throw it behind me.
I think Elijah Moore.
Okay,
I like that pick.
That's a good one.
I do.
That's a deep one.
I
too.
just don't. I hope that he doesn't get Denzel Mims.
I think he's a lot better
he's
than Denzel Mims.
100% better
year,
than Denzel Mims. I just hope that he doesn't get worked out of that system. Elijah Moore should be.
We never
I think
saw
they're gonna,
flashes of
I
him.
think he's going to become like the focal point of the offense.
Yeah. One guy, I want to mention a name, deep sleeper that I think next year will factor in, especially depending on what they do with the wide receiver situation going forward. Knowing how much San Diego puts the ball in the air and
San Diego.
So I think it means whale's vagina. So
That's a deep dive.
how much they put the ball in the air and how effective Justin Herbert is. Josh Palmer. I think Josh Palmer. I think you're going to get Josh Palmer in rounds 18, 19, fucking waiver wire.
Well, his
You know
value
what I
is
mean?
better
And
than
his-
Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. Just off of ADP alone, like you might get a better ROI off that guy instead of the other two.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see good production. I liked what I saw out of him this year. He was everything that you want to see a rookie wide receiver of that caliber that isn't one of the big names taken off the board. He sat back, he learned, he watched, and he produced at the end of the year. I like that.
I got dud.
A dud. Let's hear it.
Dud. Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's going to be a lot higher than he's ever been in draft boards, and I think
Props, brother.
it's going to be a flash in the pan.
100. So I won't call him a flash in the pan because the guy is consistent, but I don't
I'm
think
saying
he
based
does
on where
not-
he's going to get drafted.
He's not going to get worked into that offense the way that he did this year.
No, because they didn't expect that, and they're not going to long-term plan around
What's
him at
the earliest you would draft Patterson?
all. What I would draft him or what I think he's going to go?
The first one.
Both. I want to hear both. Where do you think he's going to go?
I think he's a guy that probably go like 5th round, maybe 6th.
You think he's going to go there?
Yeah, I think people will start taking him.
I was
around
thinking
there.
like people would take him in the third, fourth.
No.
You're gonna see him go off with some.
But you still going to have some legit running backs there, I think. But as soon as you get in that fringe where people are thinking about a Kelsey or Waller, they'll start taking a guy like Patterson. I probably wouldn't take him to like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Looking at my flex, a guy I could work into my flex.
I don't even know if I would take him that high. Honestly, I think statistics wise, a flash in the pan. Talent wise, the guy is
Well, he
phenomenal.
is who he is, but he's also over 30 and
He could have made the Pro Bowl, honestly, and he didn't.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think a guy that next year you should see value from, unless you have guys that hang on to those old hopes, is Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley should drop into rounds 4, 5, 6.
That's true.
I don't think he will,
with production.
No, I think he will.
With production in the
think so?
top 3 rounds.
but he'll be healthy, and he's a big name, and it's the Giants year.
That was this year. Though.
And then the year before, and the
But you
year
guys
before.
suck though.
Yeah.
You guys suck though. All right. So
Oh, we
aren't you supposed to say like somebody you think is going to get drafted
too high.
Oh yeah, the
Early.
other one,
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
one, early, and then duds. Who did I just have? I just had
should say Quan.
somebody in mind.
I have one that I'm not
Oh yeah,
too confident about.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think people are going to draft him again high. I think he's going to be in the top, 12 running backs to come off the board. And I think we've seen the last of
Like the return of Miles Sanders.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
You have no room to talk about Barkley, man. You got no-
But I don't want Barkley around. I'm just saying I could see him following that same trend of
So just
Sanders,
you don't
that
want
guy.
Miles Sanders around, and then it's an even
sure.
argument.
Once you're out on him, you're out on him.
Fat Lenny too. Fat Lenny's production, I think next
Oh
year
my
is going
God,
to
I
drop.
will not draft him. No. I don't want to touch anybody.
Who's Fat Money?
Leonard Fournette.
Oh, playoff Lenny now.
Oh no, he's no longer playoff Lenny. Yeah, not even his 2 touchdowns.
Back to fat Lenny.
Back to fat Lenny. You tubby son of a bitch.
I have one that I'm like not necessarily confident about, but like for people that are listening, maybe this is just food for thought. But yes, Deebo Samuel is incredible and is going to be a great talent and is potentially a top 10 pick, but just don't overdraft Deebo Samuel. Don't take him with your first. I don't know if I'm taking him with my first pick.
Please don't stop following us because of that.
Yeah, I think.
I'm just saying.
Here's what I'll say about Deebo Samuel. I think
saying.
If I'm anywhere,
I see your reason for skepticism.
I think he's a first round guy though.
Yeah, but
sure.
I'm talking like he wasn't even
production.
He wasn't even like on my top 3 wide receivers for the year.
Right.
And yeah, those are too early, like way too early lists. But I'm just saying, like, if you have a top 5 pick, like, just think about it.
I get what you're saying because I think Deebo is going to come off the board as a top 5 wide receiver.
I would take him in the bottom of the first round though.
Yeah.
Man, you're still talking top 5 wide receiver there. That's
top 5.
hard.
Yeah, because he's getting how many carries a game?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Think
about it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't draft him.
Uh,
I'm a little biased because I've in a dynasty league. I've had him. This is my 3rd year. I've held on.
Oh, nice.
People are trying like crazy to trade for, especially Rocky, offering me the most terrible trades in the world for him.
Scratch his neck
in the off season though, because he thinks he's smart and he's not.
Gotta get him.
So I held on to him, and then to hold on to him, have a great year. I'm a little biased, but I do think that his running ability, and I don't think Shanahan's going to lean away from that.
No,
I think that
you're 100%
second half of the first
he's
round.
Going to be a great fantasy player next year.
I don't take him top 5, but I take him.
I'm just
the
saying,
bottom 5.
Look at ADP. Round. Look at what you. I'm just saying.
Real quick to end this segment. Do we finally cut bait on Christian McCaffrey being the overall number 1 pick?
Yes.
This next year.
All right. We're all in agreement then. 100%.
I still think he's a first round pick though.
Oh, he's for sure a first round pick. And if you get him in the second round, I think he's going to have an ADP kind of similar to Barkley. We're going to see some guys that will reach for him in the first round.
This year's Barkley.
But should go in the second round. And I think you're going to be happy where you get him next year, quite honestly.
If he plays, it's worth the risk where you get him.
Yeah, but they might trade him too. They were saying.
I don't care about that.
It don't matter. Wherever the fuck he goes.
Wherever he goes, probably a better situation than he's in.
Yeah, good point.
100%.
Good point.
All right.
All right, Mark's got somewhere to go, so let's speed this along. He's checking the clock. You want to talk about your rookies? Because I don't know what the hell you're talking about here, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking, everybody's doing it right now, right? So everyone's like, all right.
And we want to be like everybody else.
Let's be trendy.
The cool kids are doing it.
Everybody's doing
See,
it.
I see everybody doing it. Yeah, what is it?
Holy shit, did you see how far he just jumped off that bridge?
Little qualifier
I'm
here.
following you.
I really don't watch. I mean, I watch like the game that they promote for college, like the Sunday night game. That's the game I watch. I don't watch college.
Yeah, you're not going to like the SEC network and
No,
trying to
I'm
watch,
not doing any of that.
like Southern Miss playing.
I'm not doing it.
I feel you on that. I like to maybe mention, if we can, some rookies that are coming into the league next year, and we have no clue where the hell they're going to end up. And we're not. This segment isn't predicting where they're going to end up right now. Mm-hmm. It's just, who are you looking forward to that's like a statistical freak that when they come into the NFL, they might have Justin Jefferson production, they might have Jamar Chase production, they might have the guy Najee Harris production up in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. Are there any rookies that you're excited to see where they go because you're like, I can't wait to draft this dude in the late, early middle rounds?
Yes.
I got nothing.
I got one.
Let's hear it.
So this is depending on situation for me, but I like the boy out of Ohio
it's a
State.
little erotic.
Chris, how do you say his last name? I'm so sorry. You threw this segment on me, so I don't know. Chris Olave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because so they have him kind of like going in the bottom of like the first round, kind of the middle of the. If the Saints take somebody like that, I think that's a good pick, especially if he does go to the Saints.
It's a Mike Thomas replica right there.
But we don't know who the coach is.
To the core.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
But like, who's there besides potentially that dude,
Right.
Traquan Smith, go UCF. But I mean, other than that,
he's trash.
Yeah, well, Gabe Davis, go.
Well, shout out to UCF, man. Gabe Davis, holy shit.
Yeah, what a game.
What a game. Dude, oh my God. Not even Jerry Rice. Nobody has done what Gabe Davis just did.
Gabe Davis. Better than Jerry Rice, confirmed.
I think that's the reason. Rocky is not even in New York City right now. Rocky's at home, and he knew that we were going to have to bring that up, and he didn't want to be present for us bringing that
Rocky's
shit up.
in Cleveland.
Is he?
No, I don't know.
Oh. Well, I know he went up to see the Jersey Boys.
Oh, the Jersey Boys is a good play.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
You don't.
I'm
You
excited.
don't like musicals. You're a tough guy, huh?
Nah, Mark likes cats.
Jesus.
I heard that was terrible. I haven't watched it.
I think my
heard that was
parents have
absolutely
seen
awful.
Cats like when it was
I think
an
he's talking
actual
about the
musical.
play.
He's talking about the play, not
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah. I'm
You
talking
guys
about
watched the
play.
movie.
No.
You watched the movie.
I've never seen the movie.
Bullshit.
You know what's funny though is I do actually enjoy Broadway plays. I've seen a couple and I do
So you're
like
just
them.
being that guy?
Yeah, I'm just being
Okay.
that guy. So anyway, back to me. So I want to see Traylon Burks, man.
Okay.
I want to see where Traylon Burks goes. I don't like where he's projected right now. I think it's an absolute disgustingly
He's projected to go to the
shit
Birds.
projection. And
Thanks, Bucky
well,
Brooks.
Well, let's face it. The Philly's not good on hitting on wide receivers, so he's probably not going there.
Jalen Rager, baby.
But-
Yeah, but he might be a tight end.
J.C. Arcega-Whiteside.
I was thinking, what's up?
All right.
There we go.
I mean, come on, just accept it. They were terrible.
Yes, dude. Just
Nelson Aguilar, who's been better since he left.
swallow that pill.
Al Gore has a Super Bowl ring,
They could have had. I'm not making fun of him. He's been better since he left, though.
but he hasn't. Well, has he gotten a Super Bowl ring since he left?
No, he hasn't.
So is he
he's
better?
been more successful in Philadelphia, but he's been a
Ah,
better
there it is.
player since he left.
Okay, Kadarius Toney or Kenny Galladay that you paid $1 billion to.
Year one,
That got
man.
Oh, year
Year
one.
one, man.
Okay.
All right, you assholes done. You're gonna let me talk about this guy. Thank you.
Hey, listen,
Traylon Burks.
I know you got to go
6'3",
somewhere.
225.
No, you got to go somewhere. Cool your jets, bruh.
Year one, Nelson Aguilar didn't do a whole lot, but he got a Super Bowl ring after that.
He
So,
did.
sure.
Congratulations. You guys won one.
Traylon Burks in his junior year, 66 receptions for 1,100
God.
yards, 11 touchdowns.
You doing this? You been
And
this guy?
he did all that in Arkansas, man. 6'3", 225. This dude is a physical freak. He's going to go out there. He's going to win
You're all
50-50
all
balls.
about the freaks.
He's going to, yeah, I'm about the freaks. He's a speed demon.
Physical
He's
freaks.
a big
Physical freaks.
physical receiver. Reminds me
Of JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Ex-boyfriend.
AJ,
Your ex-boyfriend.
AJ Brown. I like him. Traylon Burks. Keep your eyes on that dude.
That's racist. All right, so.
It's
Are
funny
we
that
going-
you talked
do you-
about it though, because he wasn't. Sorry to continue
No,
with
you're
Burks
good,
for like
go
half a second. He was like apparently real, like you were saying before we aired, like he like was under the radar extremely, and then I went to go like Google him, and now he's like going in the first round.
Yeah,
so.
and I think that's because Jameson Williams from Alabama, Williams, right? Jameson Williams, he had that injury
Yeah.
in the championship, so he was projected as the number one wide receiver taken off the board. And then you know how the NFL is,
Yeah.
man. That
Out of
projected
nowhere.
first guy always comes off the board, and then
Yeah.
it's like a bunch of dudes that like you've never heard of
Same with
that get drafted in the
quarterbacks.
first round, like Jalen Rager and a second Whiteside.
All right, well, we're just gonna talk about.
I mean, they could have had Justin Jefferson. That's what
We're gonna talk
that
about.
sucks, right? I mean, not even making funny. That sucks.
Well, I mean,
sucks.
the same thing with Chicago
I was-
quarterbacks,
you guys
man.
can't talk.
We could have had Deshaun Watson. We could have
You're
Patrick
too
Mahomes.
defensive, man. I'm just saying.
Okay, your best wide receiver is Sterling Shepard. That's famously known for taking a shirtless picture on a yacht and doing nothing after that.
Hey, listen.
So I mean, what can we
better
really
than
do?
Jalen Rager. So anyway, I wasn't. No, he's a lot better than Jalen Rager.
Can we
But
Photoshop
I mean,
it?
you're a little too sensitive. I'm saying I'm sympathizing with you. Saying that sucks that
Usually-
you didn't take Justin Jefferson.
Usually the loudest
you're
one
a
is the most
little too
sensitive.
That is
sensitive.
sarcastic sympathy.
It's
right
not.
there.
I'm saying it sucks. We took Saquon Barkley. We could have had way better players than Saquon Barkley, and we didn't. We took
I'm just
Saquon
saying-
Barkley. It
I'm
sucks.
just saying.
I'm sympathizing with you. Sometimes you got to take the emotions out, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it sucks that you could have had Justin Jefferson. That's it.
Well, the loudest one in the room isn't always the correct.
So you like Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson is what you're saying. So I'm not correct.
I will say this: Jalen Rager has a better career chance at McDonald's than he does on the Eagles.
I agree with
so
you.
we'll throw that out there.
All right, man. So what is that? That gets us to the picks.
You can read.
Can I? I don't know, man. 'cause
I don't know what our
actually-
record.
I
Does
had-
anybody
I had
know our
trouble
records
reading that.
last week?
Yeah, I know. I was 2-2 because
I don't
of
trust you. Does Rocky have
shitty
the
money.
papers?
How did we do last week, guys?
I don't know. Did you do well?
I did do well, actually. Thank you for.
Oh, okay.
Thank you
Well,
for
that's the
asking.
only time you ever want to talk about it. But yeah, I get it. What you do? When we get 3-1 or something like that? 4-0.
We went 4-0 last weekend. We
Nice. I went 6-0 the week before. We didn't do a show. So whatevs. What up?
Yeah,
Whatevs.
I found $1 million too, but just no one else saw it.
Dude, I don't think Rocky has the picks on here. But we all kind of know, right? I know I went 2-2.
Rocky went 1-3.
Rocky went.
I took the Rams, so I got that one. We got to go to the chat for this.
This is like the scribblings of a madman over here.
Well, he is a half a retard, so.
This is ridiculous.
Yikes.
I don't even know what the hell.
Guys, you guys text so much in this thread, I just want to take myself out of it.
Rocky, you do realize reading is top to bottom, left to right.
It's, it's fundamental.
Holy shit. This is, I don't know, man. This is like finding a hieroglyph in a cave and trying to.
Oh, he's not here for
figure
2
out.
weeks. He's really out there living his best life.
Maybe he got lost.
Man,
All right, so did we put all the picks in the chat? Is that what happened?
I don't think so. Did we? I don't know. Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Maybe he is part of Jersey Boys now.
Yeah, so.
Maybe he's on tour for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so is there a part where I could see Rocky as like the hot dog concession man? If there's like ever like a New York, like a Jersey City, like street corner, like scene in Jersey Boys.
So what do we
you
notice?
guys want a hot dog?
Do we remember the spreads from last week or no? Anybody have the spreads? Are they in the chat as well?
San Fran was plus 5.5.
Well, it doesn't-
Cincinnati was plus 3.5. Green Bay was minus 5.5, I think. And then what was the last one?
Yeah. So the winner.
Bills, were the Bills
Yes.
favorite or no? They weren't.
So the wins were
That was
the
1.5.
Chiefs. The Chiefs won. Cincy won. This is with the point spread. So Chiefs, Cincy, Rams, and who was the other game? And whoever played
Niners.
Green Bay, Niners.
Whoever
all
played.
right, so I went 1-3.
Wow, way to follow up that 6-0, that alleged 6-0.
Still
week.
ahead of you though. So
I don't know, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Fuck, I think
Shut
you
the
are.
fuck up.
I think you are.
I mean, I went 6-0. You're not catching me.
How many fantasy
Allegedly.
leagues did you win?
Allegedly.
How many what?
Suck it.
How many who?
Fantasy leagues for a fantasy show.
This year I didn't, but I only played in 3. You played in like 50 or 100 or something.
I guess he's got a point.
Yeah,
if you,
50.
if you go for
Let's go with 50. I won 26 of 50 leagues. Yeah, let's go with 50.
yeah.
Yeah, you played in more.
I did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
shut the fuck up. So anyway,
How do you even?
you went 1-3.
Because he
Manage
has no
that.
life and
You
he's
went
a loser.
You went 4-0. I went
did.
2-2. And I think Rocky went 2-2. He may go.
No, he went
3-1.
1-3. His lock was the Packers. He had Tom Brady. He had
Yeah.
Cincinnati,
Oh.
and he had the. I don't know.
You know, I don't even think he's at home. I think he's sitting in his car out here listening to us on some like CB
Reset
radio.
that. We're going to keep talking. Reset the camera.
I still think he's lost. He's either that or on Jersey.
He says
Boys.
he was at Jersey Boys. He said thinking of Phil because I guess because I'm from Jersey. All right. Well. All right. Yeah. The same thing you did 30 minutes ago. All right. So I mean, let's just get into our picks, shall we? It's only 2 games. We got the Burrows at the Mahomes. We're rolling here. You know, I could just not use that footage, right? So, so we got. Let's talk about this game. Cincinnati at KC. Cincinnati is getting 7 points on the road. We seen this matchup 3 weeks ago. Cincinnati won in. Were they in Cincinnati?
Yeah, they
They
were.
were. All right. So, what do you guys think about this game?
This is like when back in your college days when you have a 2-question exam.
Didn't go to college.
You gotta back in high school, hopefully for Phil.
Didn't go to no.
You gotta get both these right. There's a 2-question exam right here.
Well, I don't gotta get them right. I think I'll be okay no matter what. But Yeah, we were
allegedly was 6-0, but officially 1-3.
no, definitely with 6-0. But go ahead.
Oh, I'm just starting it.
Was that documented? Yeah. You
Yeah,
start.
it was documented.
Which
start.
wait, are we doing a lock? We can't.
No,
right?
you can't do a lock.
Yeah.
Just pick the games.
Why can't you lock it?
There's only 2 games.
So
okay, fuckhead.
lock one, you son of a bitch.
What is
Stick by what you're saying.
What is the difference? I'll lock both of them, motherfucker. How about 2 locks?
We need a sheriff. We need someone to lay down the law here.
That's the guy you
We're
want to lay down the law?
gunslinging. No.
All right, Zach, what you got? We're gonna have to get Rockies off.
He looks the guy that gets the law laid on him.
So I've been saying this. There's a pecking order in the NFC West. And in typical fashion, the 49ers usually beat the Rams, but can they do it 3 times in a row?
No.
We've seen the Saints not being able to do it against the Buccaneers in past years. With this all being said, I'm going to take the 49ers to cover. Don't know if they win this game, but They won a game in Lambeau Field and did almost nothing to do it on a big portion of the side of the ball being offense.
Well, we have choke artist Aaron Rodgers playing that game.
It can't be worse, and this is going to be played in LA. Like there's going to be more offense for San Francisco. I don't know if they win this game, but I like the 3.5. There, I said it. Should I continue?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's your next game.
Okay.
No, let's just all talk about one game at a time.
Let's
I waited just in
All right.
case.
What you got?
I do think the Rams are going to win.
But by
My
how
only
much?
question is if they're going to cover. Yeah. So, I mean,
That is the question.
You know what's crazy with 3 and 3.5?
stating obvious.
I got to get it out of my. I have such a roadblock with 3.5 that I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's
No, it is a big deal.
overcomable number, but it really is.
Every
a big deal.
single game was a field
was a
goal
field
win.
goal.
Well, the key numbers are 3 and 6. So, man, do I think? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take. I think the Rams will win, but I will take San Francisco with the 3.5.
Whoa.
Well,
Because I think they had their number. I think the Rams are gonna get over the hump and beat them. San Francisco plays defense well. They're gonna keep it close.
Yeah.
But I think Rams they just have more talent right now.
Well, obviously Vegas has this close, right? Because they're saying basically the Rams are a 0.5 favorite in this game, and then with home field advantage, they get the 3. So that could have gone either way. This is almost a money line game.
On the neutral field, this would be a pick 'em.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying.
This is crazy, man, because I do not like how the Rams closed out that game in Tampa, and I definitely don't like.
It was fluky though. It was fumbles, bro.
But it was really fluky. And Matt Gay with a 47-yard field goal, he leaves it 5 yards short when this dude has routinely hit 50-plus yard field goals.
It's just one time, so I go with the
it's
majority versus the one time.
But to leave it short, like wide, right or left, short, but short.
What do you think happened? Do you think he broke his leg on the kick?
What's wrong with being short?
I don't know, man. It sounds like that's a therapy question. I'm not going to answer that one. But, so, 3.5. I think the Rams win. I'm going to try to pretend like 3.5 is a lot to be giving a team.
You're a copycat, by the way.
I think
Because we both picked.
Don't
said
think
the Rams will
don't
win.
think too hard about it because you thought your way into picking Dallas.
That's true.
So I'm just gonna say that.
that's a good point. So, I think the Rams then significantly here.
Oh,
okay. I like that.
Is that your lock?
So you're taking
Mark?
the Rams.
Are you locking in the Rams?
No,
you
man.
locking in the Rams?
You're going to love my lock.
Well,
There's only one other game.
If I had to
so-
guess, it's the other game.
But you don't know what team it
You
is.
love my lock.
You don't know what team it is.
Like and subscribe and stay tuned for Mark's lock.
All right,
What's it gonna
so
be?
game number 2, we got, like I introduced before, Cincinnati's getting 7 on the road. And, man, I tell you what, I think KC wins this game, and I think they cover.
I second that. We have the same picks. Yes, we are all Bengals fans, I would say, for the most
Not a
part.
Bengals fan.
Besides Phil.
Now you're the Bengals, Jets,
No,
and
stop
Eagles.
it.
Okay,
Stop it. Stop it.
keeping track.
Everyone that has a heart is rooting for the Bengals because it's Joe Burrow. It's a team that no one expected. And the Bills,
I love Joe Burrow.
to a lot of people, the Bills should have gotten a shot. So there's a lot riding on the hopes of Cincinnati. With that being said, Kansas City is going to win. I wouldn't say convincingly, but definitely is going to cover, in my opinion. And if I had to pick a lock, I guess it's this game.
Yeah, I'd take this in my lock, too.
So I would actually take the Rams as my lock. I'm just gonna throw that out there because I am
Wait till we
going.
hear it.
I am going with Cincinnati on the road
Whoa.
+7.
Whoa.
I think they cover. I hope they win. My heart, like you
See?
said,
There it is.
is
Betting with your
Cincy.
heart. Yeah.
And I would love to see Joe Burrow. Man, what is better than a Joe Burrow post conference? This dude he's just got straight up swag for days.
We should all get
you
those
like-
sunglasses.
Like his beat,
I
huh?
like Joe Burrow, and I
Like
cannot
these.
wait to hear what he says when he takes down
You know what's funny?
Oh, wow.
I
Patrick Mahomes.
Usually when someone says, you know, it's funny, it's usually not funny after that. So I'm already set for failure. But I was watching the Cincinnati game, and then my girlfriend's in the other room doing homework. She's like, "Is Joe Burrow playing?" I'm like, "How do you know who Joe?
Yeah.
How do you know?" She said the same thing about Jimmy Garoppolo too a few years back. I'm like,
Oh, because Jimmy
Oh,
Garoppolo's
man.
pretty hot.
she's like, I'm like, how do you know who Joe? I'm like, something's not adding up here. But
That's pretty clippable,
Even
too.
NFL
him
fans
admitting Garoppolo's hotness.
Oh, you don't think he's hot?
I'm not going to go there.
Why? You
He's
scared?
No, I just don't.
You don't know if a man's handsome or not?
I like him for what he does. I like him on the football field.
So he can't.
I think
You
Jimmy
see, he's
Garoppolo
like getting flustered. He can't say.
I think
It's-
Jimmy
it's
Garoppolo is a
perfectly normal.
fantastic football player.
You don't
and I
think you don't know if he's good looking or not?
It's getting warm in
I
here.
don't know. I don't know how to.
Oh, it's
I don't know
just
how to
bullshit.
Judge. I don't know how to judge guys.
You don't know
on
how
that
to judge.
scale.
You look at yourself every day.
I said it I said a few episodes ago. Jalen Hurts, top 5.
No,
Good looks.
not top 5. Definitely not.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo's top 5.
Yeah, I guess you
for
could put
sure.
Joe Burrow in there.
I don't know about Joe Burrow. I haven't looked at him enough.
So who's your top 5 hottest quarterback?
I know. I have to sit down. I would have to sit down and think about it. So I mean, you can't. You don't
Tom
think
Brady?
Jimmy Brady's
Brady.
in there.
Brady would
in
have
there.
to be in there.
Yeah.
So now Brady, of course. But Jimmy,
No,
he's
because
like a
he's
better
all
looking
over.
Brady.
He's all over magazines and such.
Look at
Oh yeah, and such.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous, Jimmy, man.
Justin Herbert.
You know what's funny is I was actually looking at Jimmy Garoppolo this past week, and I'm like, God damn, if football doesn't work out for this guy.
He's a good-looking
he's
fella.
got a career in a lot of different things.
Honestly, football's not working out for that guy. So maybe.
Better than Jimmy.
all right,
Hurts.
man. So is that it? That's all, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's all we got, man. You guys
Take
got
it-
anything
take us
else
away.
you want to say?
I have one thing.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is nowhere near top 5 most handsome quarterbacks.
No, he's not.
I heard
I
you
agree
say
with
something
you.
about Jalen Hurts at the end of that.
I said
under
that
your
Jimmy
breath.
Garoppolo's better than him. Yeah, that's what I said.
Daniel Jones.
Okay.
Funniest thing I ever heard about Daniel Jones is the Giants drafted a guy that looks like he would play Eli Manning in a movie about Peyton Manning.
Yes, that was pretty funny. I did hear
I think
that.
that is
I forgot
like
who
the
said that.
greatest.
That was
That
good.
might have been part of my take that said that. That was pretty funny. All right. Hey, guys, thanks. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Follow us on all social media platforms. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, obviously YouTube, where you're watching us right now. Comment, like, whatever tickles your fancy. We appreciate the support and any feedback. Thank you for coming, and come back next week.
Phil's on
Peace.
onlyfans.com. You find him there under Jimmy G Lover.
Peace.